Welcome back to the deep dive, where we take a complex topic, grab the essential sources, and deliver the clear, actionable insights you need, and fast.
Today, we are undertaking a deep dive into segregated funds. You might have heard them called S funds. The easiest way to think of them is a traditional mutual fund, but, well, it's custom wrapped inside an individual insurance contract.
And that insurance wrapper is the key. It's the source of all the controversy, the complexity, and yeah, the higher price tag.
It definitely is.
So our mission today is to understand exactly what you're buying when you pay for that wrapper. Because the sources are very clear on this. S funds are more expensive than their equivalent, standalone mutual fund counterparts.
That higher cost is non-negotiable, that's true. But it's the premium you pay to completely offload some really key risks. I mean, you're gaining market exposure, the unlimited upside, while buying a powerful mechanism to limit your downside.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Today, we'll explore exactly how that works. We'll focus on the two core guarantees, this strategic reset feature, the revolutionary way S funds can tackle longevity risk, and then finally, the incredible stealth benefits related to tax and estate planning.
Let's jump straight into that core safety net then, because this is the fundamental reason for the higher cost, right? Principal protection.
Exactly. S funds provide downside protection from principal loss through two primary but really distinct guarantees.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is the maturity guarantee. This is basically the promise from the insurer that at a bare minimum, you will receive at least 75% of the principal you deposited.
And the when is absolutely critical here. When does this guarantee actually apply?
It applies strictly on the maturity date. Now, that date is usually 10 years from when you first put the money in, although a lot of contracts now extend that term significantly, sometimes even past the annuitant's age of 100.
So if the term ends and my investment is up,
Then the policy owner, that's the person who deposited the money and controls the contract, they just receive the higher market value. Simple as that.
but what if the market tanks and the value is lower than that 75% guarantee?
Then the insurer provides what the sources call a top-up. They actually cover the difference from their own financial reserves to make sure the policy owner gets that full guaranteed amount.
So that's the unlimited upside with the defined downside protection.
That's the definition of it.
Okay, here's where the fine print matters, and this feels like a critical takeaway for anyone thinking about S funds. This protection is only active at maturity.
Exactly. If your time horizon changes or, you need the money sooner and you surrender the contract early, you completely forfeit the benefit of that guarantee.
Can you give us an example of that?
Sure, think of Michael's scenario from the source material. He invests $10,000, which creates a $7,500 guarantee. 4 years later, the market's dropped, and his investment is only worth $7,120.
So if he cashes out then?
He only gets the $7,120. The $7,500 guarantee just vanishes because he didn't stick to the contract's term.
That makes the time commitment a core consideration. You're paying for insurance, but that policy only pays out if you see it all the way through.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's look at the second safety net. This one is much less time-bound, the death benefit guarantee.
Right. This guarantee is also at least 75% of the sum you deposited, but it applies immediately from day one if the annuitant dies during the contract term.
Okay, so who's the annuitant and who gets the money?
This is where we need to nail down the three key roles.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. The policy owner is like the conductor. They put the money in, they make all the decisions.
Got it.
The annuitant is the measuring stick. It's their life that the death benefit is measured against. And then the beneficiary is the recipient. They're the ones who receive the death benefit.
So the policy owner benefits from the maturity guarantee, but the beneficiary gets the death benefit guarantee.
And that distinction is crucial. A big advantage of this death benefit, especially for older clients, is that the guarantee applies from day one. It protects that legacy from a short-term market collapse.
And I saw that unlike traditional life insurance, there's usually no medical underwriting.
That's a huge point. For an older person, or maybe someone worried about health issues making them uninsurable, this offers immediate peace of mind that their legacy is protected no matter what the market does tomorrow.
Okay, so we've protected the downside. How do we make sure we lock in that market upside? That brings us to this unique reset mechanism.
The reset is it's really the strategic part. If you imagine a graph of your investment's value, going up and
Like
down.
mountain ranges.
Exactly, like mountain ranges. Your initial guarantee is set down in that first valley. But when the market surges and you reach a high peak, the reset lets you lock in that higher market value to set a new higher guaranteed amount.
The example in the source was pretty powerful.
It really is. An investor puts in $20,000, so their initial 75% guarantee is $15,000. 4 years later, the market has just surged to $50,000.
So they hit the reset button.
They hit reset, and their new guarantee immediately jumps to $37,500. That massive gain is now secured. It's protected from any future market downturns.
That protection is incredible, but there's always a trade-off, isn't there?
There is. Resetting the guarantee usually delays the maturity date. If you are on a 10-year term, performing a reset often starts a brand new 10-year term from that date.
So a reset protects my game, but the fine print says I'm also committing to another decade. That almost sounds like a penalty for success if I had a firm exit date in mind.
It's less a penalty and more.
Good.
A necessary contractual adjustment. The insurer is extending their guarantee, so they have to reset the time frame to manage their own risk.
So it depends on your goals.
Exactly. If you're growth-oriented, long-term, say, retirement is 20 years away, then resetting frequently is extremely attractive. But if you know you need that money in 8 years, you have to carefully weigh the risk of a market drop against extending the maturity past your target date.
That's a very nuanced decision. Now, the flexibility doesn't end there. What if you make ongoing annual deposits instead of one big lump sum?
Well, if the contract is structured that way, each individual deposit can act like its own little mini segregated fund with its own guarantee and its own maturity date.
Right, like Sandra's example. She makes 3 annual $2,000 deposits into a 15-year contract. Her first deposit matures in 15 years. The second one, made a year later, matures 16 years from now, and so on. By year 17, she has 3 separate guarantees maturing at different times.
It turns what could be a single, inflexible date into a series of staggered maturities. It's an excellent way to manage future cash flow. And to monitor all this, you track the net asset value per unit, or NAVPU.
And when you see that NAVPU rising, that's your signal.
That's your signal that a reset or maybe a fund switch might be a good idea.
Okay, let's move on to one of the most advanced uses for S-funds, especially for retirees, tackling longevity risk. The biggest fear for any retiree is just outliving their money.
It is. And S-funds solve that with powerful guaranteed income features. We're talking about the Guaranteed Minimum Withdrawal Benefit, or GMWB, and the really big one, the Guaranteed Lifetime Withdrawal Benefit, or GLWB.
That GLWB, that's the key. Income for life no matter how long you live. The sources break this down into 3 phases. Can you walk us through the savings phase first?
Sure. The savings phase is the accumulation period. You benefit from market growth, of course, but you also often get an annual guaranteed credit on your initial deposit, say 5%, as long as you don't make early withdrawals. This credit is designed to boost your guaranteed withdrawal base, even if the market is totally flat.
So you're creating a sort of secondary, almost imaginary, guaranteed account balance that only ever goes up, and it's used just for calculating your future income.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
So what happens when you move into the payout phase?
This is when the regular income starts.
Yeah.
And the annual payout is calculated based on that accumulated guaranteed withdrawal base, not the current market value.
Ah, so your income is insulated from the market.
Completely insulated. If the market drops 40% the week after you retire, your guaranteed annual income stays precisely the same.
And the final phase is the benefits phase. This is the real safety net.
This is the bulletproof part. That phase kicks in if the actual market value of your investments hits 0, maybe due to a long market decline or just from your regular withdrawals, even though the account is empty.
The insurer has to keep paying.
The insurer must continue to pay that guaranteed annual income to the annuitant for the rest of their life. It's the ultimate solution to longevity risk.
That is the ultimate peace of mind. Now, beyond the guarantees, we should also just quickly note that the underlying funds are all professionally managed.
Yes, you're getting diversification and professional oversight baked right into the cost. The managers use a wide range of assets to lessen risk, and even if they get it wrong and the whole market tanks,
The guarantees are still there.
the maturity and death guarantees provide that ultimate fail-safe as long as you stick to the contract terms. And you can still switch between funds if your goals change, though, always check the contract for limits or fees.
Okay, let's get to the final category, what we've called the stealth benefits. These are the non-investment advantages from that insurance wrapper. And number 1 is huge: probate exemption.
This is a massive reason clients choose S funds, particularly in provinces where probate fees are high. Probate is essentially a provincial tax on the total value of a deceased person's estate.
And it can really eat into an inheritance and cause long, long delays.
Months, sometimes years, can be a real nightmare for the family.
So how does the S fund manage to bypass that entire process?
By using that insurance mechanism, by naming a beneficiary other than the estate like a spouse or a child, the death benefit proceeds pass outside of the estate entirely,
So the money goes straight to them.
straight to the named beneficiary. It's quick, often within days. It's completely private, and it's entirely exempt from those provincial probate fees and all the administrative headaches.
That's a major cost and time saver during what's already a stressful time. Okay, next up, creditor protection.
Segregated funds offer the potential for creditor protection, much like other life insurance policies. This usually applies if a close relative, a spouse, child, or parent, is named as the beneficiary, or if that beneficiary is made irrevocable.
But I'm guessing you can't just move all your money into S funds the day before declaring bankruptcy.
You know you cannot. The contract has to be acquired for legitimate investment purposes, not just to hide from creditors. There's always legal scrutiny, but the protective status is generally recognized.
Let's talk about a big administrative headache. Tax tracking. The insurer tracks the adjusted cost base, the ACB. What does that mean for average investor?
It solves an administrative nightmare, honestly. When you invest in a regular mutual fund, every single transaction, every purchase, every reinvested dividend changes your ACB.
And you're responsible for tracking all of that for decades.
You are. And if you don't, you can make a serious error on your tax return. With S funds, the insurer handles all of that tracking for you. It dramatically reduces the chance of making a mistake.
That service alone probably justifies a part of the premium right there. What about capital losses?
That's another key benefit. Capital losses in the fund flow directly through to you, the investor. And this provides huge flexibility. You can carry those losses back 3 years to reclaim past taxes you paid, or carry them forward indefinitely to offset future gains.
Very useful. Okay, finally, let's address the true worst-case scenario. The insurance company itself becomes insolvent. Who guarantees the guarantee?
That is the role of Assuris. That's Canada's life insurance industry protection fund. Assuris guarantees you'll retain 100% of your guaranteed amount, up to $100,000. If your guarantee is higher than that, Assuris guarantees 90% of it.
Let's use a sources example for that. Mark deposits $150,000, so his 75% guarantee is $112,500.
Right. So if the insurer fails, Assuris steps in. They calculate 90% of that guarantee, which is $101,250.
And since that's more than the base $100,000 protection.
Mark receives the $101,250. It's a very powerful backstop that ensures the integrity of the guarantees, even if the company itself fails.
And that's only triggered if the guarantees are higher than the market value.
Exactly. Reinforcing that you are always protected against that principal loss.
Okay, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground. To summarize this deep dive, segregated funds are really an investment vehicle for you, the learner, if you prioritize comprehensive risk offloading. You get market participation, but it's coupled with these strong insurance guarantees.
You secure your gains with the reset, you mitigate longevity risk with the GLWB, and you streamline your entire estate process by bypassing probate. The real insight isn't the 75 or 100% guarantee number. It's the fact that you are paying an insurance company to completely offload catastrophic market risk and, just as importantly, administrative risk.
Which brings us right back to our initial trade-off, the cost. An S fund is definitively more expensive than a comparable mutual fund. Since they offer robust protection against 3 distinct dangerous market losses, creditor claims, and estate delays via probate, our final provocative thought is this. For your specific personal circumstances, which of those 3 protections hold the greatest non-financial value to you? And could that make the higher annual cost entirely justifiable?
That's a great way to frame the value proposition. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll catch you on the next one.